5 lonely orphans discover an incredible connection with an old man. His life-changing secret revealed in the heart of a Midwest town. The whistle of the train echoed through empty streets, a mournful sound that mirrored the emptiness in 5 young hearts. Emma, Jordan, Lucy, Ben, and Max gathered at the old community center, their sanctuary amidst a desolate world. Emma's fingers danced with a pencil, sketching dreams of escape with every stroke. Jordan, the always-on-the-go athlete, hid the sting of abandonment behind toughened laughter. Lucy, the mother hen of the group, stuffed her goals into a corner, wishing for family, while Ben's furrowed brow echoed thoughts of hopelessness. Max clowned around, using humor as a shield against the bitterness of their shared fate. Their chatter filled the worn-out walls, creating warmth in the fractured atmosphere. Emma sketched while they talked about their dreams, not just of escape but of belonging, of family, of hope. Each shared story unlocked feelings once tightly wound in their chests. Laughter mingled with tears, as they slowly unraveled the burdens they carried day by day. But one day, an unexpected shadow crept in: Mr. Thompson. The grumpy old war veteran with a shop cluttered with forgotten treasures didn't seem to belong to their world. At first, he was an annoyance and irritation, scraping against their fragile sense of togetherness. But as they reluctantly helped him clean out his store, it revealed itself as a treasure chest of stories and secrets. They found history woven within dusty tools and dust-covered knickknacks. "Hey, you kids should see this," he murmured, showing them a rusty old compass. His eyes sparkled with distant memories as he recited tales of bravery and dreams nearly forgotten. Every story pieced together their fractured lives, illuminating the path to healing. It was a connection they didn't expect but desperately needed. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they worked on a mural to save the community center filled with vibrant tales of their lives and dreams, it all came crashing down when an official from town came to shut them down. "This place isn't for your kind," he spat, targeting their hopes with his cruel words. Fear gripped their hearts like a vice. Would they retreat into shadows, or would they rise? The decision hung heavy in the air, the weight of what they built at stake. Max's laughter faltered, and Lucy's caring face turned pale. Emma's hands trembled, and even Jordan felt a stirring within. Determined, they huddled together. Now, standing on the steps of the community center, the setting sun cast long shadows, and Mr. Thompson looked at them with a knowing gaze. "It takes a spark to ignite a fire," he whispered, his voice thick with meaning. With their hearts pounding in unison, the group felt the urgency of the moment. Would they be the sparks to ignite change, to challenge the narrative that defined them? As doubt began to weave through their minds, they stood at the threshold of a journey toward an uncertain yet hopeful future. The silence among the 5 friends grew heavy, each one lost in their thoughts, staring out across the fading light of the day. It was a moment of calm before the storm. Emma felt her heart racing as the weight of the situation loomed over them. Had they worked so hard just to watch everything crumble? Jordan's voice broke through the stillness. "We won't let him take this away from us. We can't." His fervor ignited something deep within the group. The others nodded, their resolve strengthening. Lucy, squeezing Emma's hand for support, spoke with a tremor of determination. "We need to fight for what we've built here. This center, it's our home." Her words stirred the embers of hope stoked by Mr. Thompson's stories. Max, usually the jokester, had a serious glint in his eye. "Yeah. We've been through worse, right? We're a family, and families stick together." A glimmer of that trademark grin returned as he spoke, looking around at each of them with renewed spirit. "I have some ideas," Ben interjected, drawing their collective focus. "What if we organize a community event here? We can invite everyone. If the townspeople see how much this place means to us, maybe they'll stand with us. Victories felt distant, but the thought of gathering strength in numbers sparked hope again. Emma's heart raced with excitement. We can show them the mural. The stories. We can prove this place matters. Yes. This isn't just about us anymore. It's about bringing everyone together, the kids, families, everyone. Lucy added, her nurturing instincts coming alive. Max reflected the gravity of it all, and we could even ask Mr. Thompson to share some of his stories. People love to hear about courage. As they strategized amid the fading light, their collective energy felt almost electric. Each idea fueled the last, their voices blending into a symphony of determination. Mr. Thompson observed quietly, a flicker of pride softening his usually gruff demeanor. You kids have more heart than most adults I know, he said, letting out a rare chuckle. If you pursue this, I'll be right by your side. Heartbeat by heartbeat, they began to outline their plans. The mural would be the centerpiece, alive with colors, stories, and the vibrant essence of their dreams. But they would need support, friends and allies from the community who believed in them. That night, as they left the community center, each took a moment to glance back, their hearts pulsing with renewed conviction. They were no longer just orphans lost in a world of shadows. They were fighters, warriors for their dreams. As they walked home, tight-knit like the family they had chosen, Emma couldn't shake off the feeling that a storm was brewing. What if we actually get shut down? She wondered aloud, her eyes reflecting the first stars of the night. We won, Jordan asserted, confidence flooding every word. Together, we are unstoppable. But deep down, they all shared a lingering fear. What if they fought hard only to find their worst fears realized? The next morning dawned with a sense of urgency. They needed to gather momentum, set their plan into motion. But as they approached the community center, a whisper of dread curled around their hearts. What if the town officials were already there? With each step, they felt the pull of fate press heavier on their shoulders. Would their fight begin even before the event? Determined, they pressed on, knowing their story was about to unfold in ways they couldn't predict. No matter what awaited them, they were ready to ignite their spark. The door was ajar, swinging slowly as they approached. Taking a deep breath, their hands clasped together, they stepped inside. What would they find waiting for them on the other side? The air inside the community center smelled faintly of paint and determination. The sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating the vibrant colors of the mural that was still in progress. Heartbeats quickened as the friends stepped fully into the room. Each corner of the space held memories, laughter, tears, moments of belonging. But today, that belonging felt fragile. Emma glanced around nervously. The room, though still familiar, felt charged with unspoken tension. Is anyone here? Jordan called out, his voice echoing slightly against the walls. They waited, hearts pounding in unison. Silence enveloped them, stretching until it was almost unbearable. Just as Emma started to doubt their strength, a figure emerged from the shadows at the far end. Mr. Thompson. A mix of relief and apprehension washed over them. His usually stern expression was softer, eyes gleaming with wisdom. I came early to help you get set up. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Thanks, Mr. T. We need all the help we can get, Max chimed in. His usual bravado faltered just enough for the strain of the situation to seep through. As they gathered around him, the weight of their mission settled heavily. Emma could feel her stomach clenching. What if the officials really do try to shut us down? She blurted, voicing the fear swirling inside her. Mr. Thompson met her gaze, his expression unwavering. Then we fight back. Not just with words, but with actions that show this community what this center means to you all. Their resolve hardened with every passing moment. They quickly divided tasks. Lucy and Jordan would work on organizing the kids for a performance, while Ben and Max prepared materials to promote the community event. Emma volunteered to speak with locals, rallying support. A sense of urgency enveloped them as they set to work, excitement battling fear within their hearts. The more they discussed the event, the more they could almost taste the hope bubbling within the group. The mural, scattered with vibrant images and words, would represent their stories, their struggles, and the heart of their community. A few hours later, as they took a breather, the space filled with laughter and small victories. If only for a moment, doubt slipped away, replaced by the thrill of possibility, but reality knocked loudly. The center's front door swung open again, this time revealing two stern-looking town officials. Emma's stomach dropped. It felt like a gust of cold air swept in. Is this where the event planning is happening? One officer asked, glancing around the room with a scrutinizing gaze. Jordan stepped forward, his heart racing. Yes. We were just getting started. The officials shared a glance, their faces unreadable. Emma felt a lump form in her throat. We have some concerns about the legality of this gathering, the other officer stated firmly, crossing his arms. Panic rippled through Emma's veins. She exchanged looks with her friends, searching for strength. They had come so far and built so much. Before she could say anything, Mr. Thompson interjected, his voice calm but filled with authority. This center is more than a building, it's a lifeline. These kids are determined to share their story. They need your support, not your obstacles. The room went silent, everyone holding their breath. The officials hesitated, and for a moment, it seemed like everything hung in the balance. Would they listen? Would they understand? Emma could hear her heart thundering in her ears as they all waited, hope and dread intertwined like vines. Would their dreams shatter right here? Or could they turn this into an opportunity for strength and unity? And just as the tension peaked, one of the officials opened their mouth to speak. What would come next would change everything. Mr. Thompson stood strong, a pillar amidst the uncertainty. The room felt charged, each person bracing for what would come next. The first official adjusted his glasses, fingers tapping nervously against his clipboard. Emma felt the anticipation tightening around her like a noose. It's not just about legality, he began, his voice steady but strict. It's about order. We've seen gatherings like this turn chaotic. The words sank into the atmosphere, heavy as lead. Max shifted uncomfortably, breaking the silence. This isn't a chaotic event. It's a chance for the community to come together. You know how important this center is for us. The second official nodded slightly but remained unyielding. And we need assurances that it's controlled safe. His gaze swept over the bustling mural, its colors vibrant yet fragile, mimicking their hope. Emma's heart raced. They had so much passion but lacked formalities to offer. How could they convince these officials that their hearts would guide the gathering much better than red tape? Please, Emma spoke up, taking a step forward. This isn't just another event. It's our story. This center helped many of us find a family when we had none. We need your help, not barriers. The raw emotion in her voice cut through the tension like a knife. Mr. Thompson nodded in agreement. Listen to them. Everyone in this room has fought their own battles. The center is a symbol of our fights, and so many lives depend on it. It's a community of resilience. The officials exchanged looks, uncertainty creeping into their rigidity. Emma caught Jordan's hopeful eyes, they were all clinging to this moment like a lifeline. Would this plea be enough? Surely there's a way to create a framework to ensure safety without losing the spirit of this event, the first official suggested slowly, a hint of vulnerability breaking through. A spark ignited within the room. Could they actually sway their decision? Emma felt warmth surge through her as her friends shared quiet nods, each one emboldened by the uncertainty now shifting in their favor. Max took a breath, determination etched into his features. We'll organize volunteers. We'll keep things safe. We want this to be an event everyone can enjoy. Lucy chimed in, voice steady, what if we invite the officials to join us in the planning? Help us ensure it's safe, fun, and meaningful. The second official's brow furrowed in thought. For a moment, Emma felt the weight of their combined hopes lifting the room slightly, as if it had lightened, every bit of tension still present but beginning to crack. "Fine," the first official said finally, his voice less rigid, almost thoughtful. "You'll have to submit a proposal by the end of the week. We will review it quickly. But make no mistake, your business must comply with town regulations." A wave of relief washed over them, tears of joy threatening to spill over. They had turned the moment around, but the next steps loomed large. Emma clung to the hope that they could pull this off. "Thank you," Jordan exclaimed, his eyes shining bright. As the officials turned to leave, Emma felt a surge of energy transforming the vulnerability that had gripped them mere moments before. This was a small victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. The chatter that ensued filled the room with life plans flying around for organizing support, reaching out to local businesses, and inviting people to join the cause. But even in this moment of joy, another thought gnawed at Emma's mind. What if the proposal wasn't enough? What if they did everything right, yet it wasn't enough to sway the officials in the end? The questions lingered, but for now, they had a chance. One step at a time, Emma thought, determined to guide her friends forward. They stepped closer to the mural, studying it with fresh eyes, and now they envisioned it not just as a representation of their struggles but a banner of hope. As the day rolled on, the buzz of excitement transformed the community center. And amidst the laughter and planning, Emma's phone buzzed in her pocket, cutting through the noise. It was a message from an unknown number. "I know about your event. You may want to be careful." Emma's heart sank. Who was this? What did they know? And what did it mean for everything they had worked for? Just when they thought they had a handle on things, an unexpected storm threatened to brew. Emma stared at her phone as if it were a venomous snake ready to strike. Her heart pounded. Who could this be? The thrill of their small victory was quickly swallowed by a wave of confusion. In a crowded room full of laughter and plans, she felt isolated, as if the walls were closing in. "Emma? You okay?" Max asked, worry etching itself deep into his features. She forced a smile, hiding the panic swelling inside. "Yeah, just a weird message." "From who? Do you want me to take a look?" he offered, stepping closer. "No." Her voice was sharper than she intended. "I mean, it's nothing. Really." As she spoke, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. The laughter and excitement of the gathering continued around them, but Emma's mind raced through possibilities. What if they were against the event? What if they knew something about the center that could derail everything? She had no real evidence, but unease settled in like a heavy blanket. I just need to think for a second," she finally said, and the group's chatter faded into a distant hum as she stepped away. She wandered toward the back where the center's windows created a peaceful view of the street outside, spring blossoms pushing through the last vestiges of winter. Her fingers brushed against the cool glass, grounding her. She watched as children played in a nearby park, laughter spilling into the air. The colors of the mural seemed to call to her, whispering promises of hope and connection. But her heart ached, knowing that shadows lurked, waiting for their moment to strike. With resolve, Emma decided to reach out to the sender. She typed a quick message, her fingers trembling slightly. "Who is this? What do you know?" The seconds dragged on, and just when she thought she had been foolish to respond, her phone buzzed again. "I'll explain. Meet me tomorrow at the old oak tree in the park. 3 p.m. Emma felt her stomach flip. An invitation? Or a trap? The urgency within her grew heavier. "Emma." Lucy's voice pierced through her thoughts. "We're heading to the coffee shop. You coming?" With a nod, she turned from the window. The aroma of brewed coffee and pastries had always pulled them together, but today it felt distant, a faded memory of happiness. The shop was filled with chatter and warmth, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in Emma's mind and heart. They settled into a booth near the window, surrounded by the comforts of friendship and the laughter they so desperately needed. As sips of steaming coffee warmed her hands, Emma couldn't escape the growing tension. "Everything okay? You seem spaced out," Jordan asked, concern reflected in his eyes. Yeah, she started, but her voice faltered. How could she share the weight of what she was feeling? Some weirdness with the proposal. Just need to focus on that. Don't worry. We've got this. We're all in it together, Max said, offering a smile that made her tight chest relax, if only for a moment. As they planned for their proposal, pieces felt like they were falling into place, until the phone buzzed again. Emma's heart raced. Another message from the same number lit up the screen. Don't trust everyone. Not everyone is on your side. A chill settled over her, and she felt eyes on her. Was someone in their midst pulling strings without them knowing? The urge to confide in her friends crashed against the fear of causing a panic. The rest of the day slipped by in a blur of laughter and determination, but Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something darker loomed just outside their little world. The meeting at the oak tree was rapidly approaching, a thread that could unravel at any moment. Would she uncover a truth that could save them, or would it lead to the destruction they feared? The stark question hung in the air as they walked home, laughter following them into the twilight. Emma couldn't help but feel that the real storm had yet to come. What awaited her at the park? And how deep did the treachery run? Emma tossed and turned in bed that night, her thoughts racing through every scenario she could imagine. Sleep eluded her, slipping through her fingers like sand. The message from the unknown sender replayed in her mind, a vicious loop feeding her anxiety. Don't trust everyone. The words echoed until she was convinced there was a conspiracy working against their project, a dark force hiding in plain sight, smiling while plotting her downfall. Morning light streamed through her window, but it might as well have been a fog. She felt sluggish, dragging herself through breakfast and struggling to keep her mind on anything but the clock ticking down to 3 p.m. The meal felt like a formality, the leftover toast sitting heavily in her stomach. Emma, you okay? Her mom asked, picking up the tension. You seem a little off. Yeah, just a lot on my mind, Emma replied, forcing a smile that was more grimace than anything else. She couldn't confide in her. There was comfort in keeping this thorny burden to herself, but the isolation stung with every passing hour. As the clock approached noon, Emma texted Lucy, asking if they could meet a little earlier in the park. She needed to talk. The worry etched across Lucy's face when they met forced Emma to question her decision. Lucy grabbed her hands, an anchor in a sea of uncertainty. Emma, what is going on? You don't have to, she started, but Emma cut her off, the words tumbling out before she could stop herself. It's about the proposal, and I've been getting weird messages. Someone says I shouldn't trust everyone. Emma's voice was barely above a whisper, her grip tightening on Lucy's hands. Lucy's expression turned serious. What do you think? Do you trust everyone? I want to, but what if I'm wrong? Emma's heart raced as she laid out the possibilities. You won't know unless you ask. But let us not panic until we have to. Lucy's reassuring smile was a balm, yet it felt like a thin layer protecting her from the storm within. They made their way to the park, each step heavy with unspoken words. The oak tree loomed in the distance like a sentinel, its massive branches swaying gently in the breeze. As they approached, Emma spotted a figure standing beneath it, an older man with a long gray beard and wise, gentle eyes. It was as if he belonged to the very essence of the tree itself. A chill threaded through her as she felt an unearthly pull towards him, her instincts screaming that he had answers she needed. Emma, Lucy whispered, do you think he knows something? Emma nodded, her heart pounding, a mix of anticipation and dread curtailing her breath. Meet me here at the oak tree, she murmured to herself, repeating the message in her mind. This was the moment she had prepared for, and yet the weight of it settled squarely on her shoulders. As they neared, the man looked up, his face breaking into a warm smile that transformed his weathered features. I've been waiting for you, he said softly, his voice carrying an unexpected warmth. Suddenly, Emma felt a rush of uncertainty. Was he a friend or foe? Could he really hold the truths she so desperately craved? Who are you? She blurted, feeling both bold and frightened. The old man leaned closer, his eyes twinkling. I know something about you and your friends, Emma. Something that could change everything. Her pulse quickened with the potentially life-altering words. What was this mystery about? Are you ready for the truth? He asked, the gravity of his words sinking in as he stepped forward, inviting her into a world of secrets yet untold. Emma took a deep breath, her eyes locked onto his, knowing she was on the edge of something profound. But what truth awaited her in this uncanny meeting? And would it lead her to safety or further into danger? Emma felt a bolt of energy shoot through her as the old man spoke. The air buzzed with a strange intensity, and she couldn't tell if her heart raced from excitement or fear. Her instincts screamed at her to step back, but something deeper urged her forward. Who are you? She stammered, forcing her voice to steady. The man took a moment, his gentle eyes surveying the world around him as if gathering words from the very leaves of the oak tree. My name is Arthur, he said finally, his voice rich like warm honey. And I've been expecting you because I know you have questions about trust. It's a powerful thing, you see. Lucy remained close to Emma, her presence like a reassuring hand on her back. What do you mean, expecting us? She pressed, a mixture of curiosity and worry knitting her brow. Because, Arthur continued, there's a storm coming. One that tests the very bonds you share with those closest to you. He spoke like a wise old sage, each word dripping with significance. But there's more to this than just your fears. It's about the people you hold dear and the choices you'll need to make under pressure. What kind of storm? Emma asked, feeling a sinking weight settle in her chest. A storm built on secrets, made of misunderstanding and mistrust, Arthur replied. And it's swirling around a choice you must make, not just for yourself, but for your friends. The message struck Emma hard. She thought about the proposal they were working on and how the stakes felt higher than ever. You mean the project? Yes. The project is simply a vessel for that choice. Your instincts are guiding you well, but it is the belief in each other that will see you through. A series of emotions surged through Emma, like a wave crashing against the shore. What if she was only seeing shadows where there weren't any? What if someone truly was trying to undermine them? Arthur's words were wise, yet shrouded in mystery. What if we don't handle it the right way? Lucy interjected, holding Emma's gaze. What happens then? Arthur smiled softly, as if he understood the crux of their fear. You will stumble. But the truth has a way of bringing clarity. Sometimes what you find will not be easy to bear. Emma felt a cold knot in her stomach. She had never liked confrontation, never wanted to challenge the fragile harmony they had created in their friendship. But what if her reluctance cost them everything? What if trust eroded away like sand under the ocean tide? What do we need to do? She asked, her voice shaking. Arthur leaned closer, his eyes sparkling with an ancient wisdom. You will need to confront your pasts and each other. Gather your friends and share your fears. Only then can you find the truth behind the whispers you fear. The breeze rustled the leaves overhead, and Emma felt a sense of urgency settle within her. Could she really confront her friends about the anxieties gnawing at her? What if revealing her doubts only fractured the already fragile bonds they shared? But deep down, she realized that facing this impending storm was the only way through it. The idea filled her with resolve, even as her heart trembled at the thought of what was to come. Will you help us? Emma asked, desperate for guidance. Arthur nodded, offering a knowing smile. I will. But remember, the choice is ultimately yours. Trust is built one small step at a time. Emma felt a strange comfort in his words. It was more than just assurance, it felt like a challenge to rise to the occasion. As they turned to walk back to the warmth of their world, questions hung heavily in the air, swirling like the leaves caught in the branches above. What would they uncover in their friendships? What truths waited to be unearthed? The walk felt longer now, each step echoing the weight of their realization. As they reached the path leading home, Emma glanced back one last time at Arthur, who stood under the oak tree, watching them with a knowing twinkle in his eyes. But under that gaze lingered a new question: could they come together in trust, or would the storm tear them apart? Tomorrow loomed heavy with uncertainty, but hope flickered against the dark. Would they face their fears with honesty, or would shadows of doubt steer their course? Emma shuffled her feet as the reality of tomorrow's confrontation loomed before her. The air felt thick with anticipation. She glanced sideways at Lucy, who was lost in her own thoughts. What if we don't know how to do it? Emma murmured, fear knotting her stomach. Lucy turned, her expression resolute. We'll figure it out together. We've always done that, haven't we? Just we have to be honest. This isn't going to be easy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows stretched out across the pavement, amplifying Emma's anxiety. She imagined the group gathered in their usual meeting spot, their laughter ringing out, but now it felt overshadowed by doubt. Would they really be able to open up? Would they see the cracks that had begun to form in their foundation? When they reached Lucy's car, she turned to Emma, her voice steady. You know, Arthur said we need to share our fears. It might be the only way to overcome this. Emma felt the tremor of uncertainty in her gut. She didn't want to be the one to rip the bandage off. What if I say something I regret? What if it just makes everything worse? Then we deal with it together. The promise lingered between them. They spent a few moments in comfortable silence, both lost in thought, before finally driving home. Emma's heart raced at the thought of what the next day would bring. The stakes felt higher than ever. This was more than just a project, it was about their friendship. Later that night, Emma lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting the minutes until sleep would come. As the darkness enveloped her, she couldn't shake the weight of the words Arthur had shared. A storm built on secrets, misunderstandings, and mistrust. She thought about Ben, the quiet one, who had been distant lately. Was he hiding something? Or maybe it was Mia, whose cheerful facade sometimes seemed forced. She could picture them all. Their faces flashed through her mind, each one a part of her life, a thread woven into the fabric of her existence. Would revealing their vulnerabilities strengthen their bond, or would it fray the threads beyond repair? Sleep finally claimed her, but her dreams were restless, filled with half-formed conversations and shadowy figures. The next day dawned bright and clear, but Emma's heart felt heavy. She gathered her notes, scrawling down everything she feared, everything she needed to say. As they arrived at the meeting spot, a small cafe with bright yellow walls, her nerves twisted violently in her stomach. She saw the group gathered inside, their laughter ringing clear, hopeful. They looked so carefree. How could she disrupt that with the storm brewing in her heart? The moment she stepped inside, the chatter faded. Everyone's eyes turned toward her. She felt like all of her secrets were suddenly exposed, laid bare. Ben smiled, oblivious. Mia waved. But it all felt surreal in the stark light of that very ordinary room. Hey, everyone, Emma said, her voice shaky but loud enough to catch attention. Can we talk? The mood shifted instantly. The smiles faded, replaced by expressions of curiosity and concern. What's up? Ben asked, tilting his head. Emma swallowed hard, her heart racing. I think we need to talk about some things about our project. And about us. A heavy stillness enveloped the space, tension crackling like electricity. Lucy took a step closer, her eyes steady and encouraging. We can do this. We need to. Emma nodded, her resolve solidifying. She knew that they had come too far to turn back now. The storm might be frightening, but she wouldn't face it alone. As she took a breath to speak, she caught sight of Arthur's shadow in her mind, urging her forward. Okay, she started, her voice stronger now. I have to be honest about what I'm feeling. Before she could finish, the door swung open. A sharp breeze blew through the cafe, and the atmosphere shifted once more. A stranger stood there, a look of urgency on his face. Are you Emma? He asked, his voice strained. The group turned as one, confusion rippling through the room. Emma's heart skipped, her curiosity piqued. Who was this person, and why was he looking for her? A chill ran down her spine. The storm was here, but it wasn't just the one she had expected. What secrets lay in wait? Emma knew that whatever was coming would change everything for better or worse. Emma blinked, trying to gather her thoughts as the stranger's question hung in the air. The cafe felt smaller, walls closing in like the weight of an unspoken truth. Who was this man, and how did he know her name? Yes, I'm Emma, she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. Good, the man replied, stepping forward. He was older, his clothes worn but neat, with gray hair that reflected wisdom, and eyes that sparkled with urgency. I need to speak with you. It's about your father. Emma felt the blood drain from her face. The world around her blurred, the laughter and chatter of her friends fading into a dull roar. My father? She echoed, the words tasting foreign on her tongue. The memories of her father were like waves crashing in her mind, some quiet, pleasant, others turbulent and sharp. Yes, he said gently, acknowledging her shock. There are things you need to know. Your family, it's more complicated than you realize. A knot tightened in Emma's chest. She had spent years trying to piece together the fragments of her father's absence. She had learned to adjust. Yet here stood a man poised to unravel all that she thought she understood. Ben shifted in his seat, his brows knitted, sensing the gravity of the moment. Emma, do you want to take this outside? He asked, instinctively protecting her. Before she could respond, Emma found her voice. No, I need to know. Stepping forward, she could feel Lucy's hand squeeze hers for support. What do you mean? What do you know about him? The man glanced around the cafe, a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. This isn't the place. This conversation, it requires privacy. He lowered his voice, leaning closer. Meet me at the park at 3. We don't have much time. Wait, Emma said, feeling her heart quicken. What about my friends? They need to know, they will understand, he cut in softly, meeting her gaze steady. Your safety comes first. Emma turned back to the group. Their faces were etched with concern, and for a moment, she felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. But this was about more than her friends, it was about her past, her family. Emma, are you sure? Lucy asked, urgency breaking through her calm demeanor. She nodded, swallowing the swell of uncertainty climbing her throat. This was the door to her past flinging wide open, and she had to step through it. I have to do this, she replied, her voice steadier, partially fueled by the adrenaline kicking in. The stranger turned and left the cafe. A heavy silence fell upon the group. Everyone's eyes lingered on Emma, a blend of empathy and fear rippling through the air. Are you going to go? Mia asked, worry pinching her features. I have to, Emma whispered again. I need answers. What if it's a trap? Ben countered, looking protective. I'll be careful, Emma promised, her heart thudding against her chest. I want to go alone. Lucy stepped even closer. Then we're going with you. We can't let you face this alone. Tension crackled in the air as Emma considered it. The looming confrontation with her father's legacy suddenly felt different, more potent with her friends by her side. But even as they rallied around her, she felt the stirrings of doubt. What if this man revealed secrets that tore their world apart? All right, at 3 it is together, Emma said, hope flickering alongside fear. They had weathered storms before, and maybe this would be no different. As they left the cafe, stepping into the bright sunlight, Emma's mind raced with possibilities. She had questions, and this stranger was the key to unlocking them. But deep down, an unsettling feeling whispered, what if some truths were meant to remain hidden? The park loomed ahead, a symbolic frontier between her past and whatever lay hidden beyond it. As they walked, Emma caught snippets of her friends discussing their own concerns, but all she could think about was what revelation awaited her. What if I find out something I'm not ready for? She thought, her heart pounding. The urgency of discovery throbbed in her ears like a beacon, illuminating the path ahead. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the event to come. Whatever awaited her at 3 could change everything, but maybe, just maybe, it would lead her to the connections she desperately sought. With her friends beside her, she felt a strength she hadn't known before, a strength built on shared fears and unresolved mysteries. Here they were, standing at the precipice of an unknown journey together, but with each step closer, a final thought struck her like lightning. What if the answers she sought would not just change her, but affect everyone she loved? As she stepped into the park, the air around her buzzed with the tension of unanswered questions, and she couldn't help but wonder what secrets would spill forth next. As Emma and her friends approached the old oak tree in the park, her heart raced. The gentle breeze whispered through the branches, a stark contrast to the storm swirling in her mind. Could this man really provide the answers she sought, or was he just another twisting vine in her tangled family history? Emma's friends rallied around her, their presence a comforting shield against the unknown. "Do you think he's really going to tell you something about your dad?" Lucy asked, her voice tight with concern. "I don't know," Emma replied honestly, wishing she could shake off the heavy feeling settling over her. "But I need to find out." As they reached the tree, the stranger, his name still just a mystery, stood waiting. He appeared even more urgent than before, eyes scanning the area as if expecting someone else. "Are you ready?" he asked, direct and serious. Emma nodded, her friends stepping closer, their solidarity enveloping her like an embrace. "Can you tell us everything?" she asked, determination natural in her voice. The man took a slow breath, his gaze softening. "Yes. But first, you need to understand that secrets can change how you see everything." The weight of his words hung in the air, igniting a flicker of anxiety. Emma's heart pounded, and she squeezed Lucy's hand tighter. "What you think you know about your family, it's only part of the story," he continued, voice steady. "Your father didn't just leave. He chose a path that may have saved you, not harmed you." Emma's breath caught. "What do you mean, saved me?" A deeper frown creased the man's brow, heavy with the burden of a truth long kept. "Your father faced dangers, complexities in his life that I can't delve into here. But because of those dangers, he made a decision to shield you from that world. You've been living without knowing the entire story." "But I've always thought he abandoned me," Emma protested, a cold chill zipping down her spine. "It's not that simple, Emma. Some things are laid bare in the light, while others lurk in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. You need to listen with an open heart." Emma felt tears prick her eyes. "I just want to understand." The stranger looked her in the eye, and Emma perceived a glimmer of empathy. "The truth isn't a monster that devours. It can be a lighthouse guiding you home." In the stillness, Emma felt the weight of her fears tugging at her heartstrings. "What if I can't handle what I find out?" "Then you won't be alone. You have your friends. Remember, every journey is tackled step by step." A sense of calm washed over her, bolstered by the unwavering support of Lucy, Jordan, Max, and Ben by her side. "Okay," Emma whispered, a spark of courage igniting within her. "Tell me everything." The man took a deep breath. "I need you all to come back here in a few days, at the same time. The truth isn't just for Emma, it affects all of you. You each have a part in this story, and it's time to unravel it together." Emma and her friends exchanged glances filled with confusion, curiosity, and a silent pact that somehow settled upon them, the resolution shimmering like sunlight through the leaves. As they left the park, Emma carried a strange blend of hope and trepidation, feeling the weight of her father's legacy pressing ever so slightly against her back. It was a daunting journey ahead, unearthing her history and what it meant for the present. Back at the community center, they rallied together to prepare for the upcoming event. The mural that they had begun to craft now felt like a tapestry of their lives, woven with stories of struggle and resilience. While Emma worked on her section, colors blending seamlessly together, whispers of doubt flickered in the back of her mind. The confrontation with her father's truth lingered like a shadow, yet she sensed a glimmer of light illuminating the darkness. Days flew by, and anticipation welled within her. They focused on their project. On the day of the event, the community center buzzed with chatter, laughter bubbling as townsfolk filed in, keen to see the mural and hear their stories. The bright colors illuminated the walls, speaking of belonging and hope, transforming the center into a beacon of light against their struggles. As the crowd grew, Emma surveyed her friends. "We're ready," she said softly to Lucy, sharing a final glance that sealed their resolve. Together, they stepped up to speak, voices carrying warmth as they shared the significance of their stories. Each sentiment whispered trust among them, a celebration of their bond. Afterward, looking at the crowd's smiling faces, Emma felt the shadows of fear start to lessen. It didn't matter how uncertain the future felt, they had built something beautiful from their collective pain. Whatever storm awaited her beyond the day's bright joy, she knew she wouldn't face it alone. Hand in hand, they were stronger, and that, she realized, was more important than any truth she might discover about her past. Emma understood that she had forged her own family amidst the trials, filled with compassion, loyalty, and love. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma swore she could almost hear Arthur's words echoing through the evening breeze: "Trust is built one small step at a time." Together, they were ready to face whatever came next. Start your epic journey with us. Make sure you don't miss out on the next story. You need to subscribe now to stay updated on all the twists and turns. Leave a like now to help us grow and share this amazing journey. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending. What did it stir within you? Don't wait not even one more second to share this with at least 5 friends who need to hear this inspiring transformation. Only true fans understand the power of supporting the channel through these simple, yet impactful actions.